Hey y'all, I know I'm annoying. Please comment below with a better intro for me for season 2 if there is one. This video is going to be on using intentional language within the natural hair community. Let's get started. We've come to the end of laying down the edges. Crazy, right? So I think what we've been able to do is have these really interesting and critical conversations about texture discrimination, race and ethnicity, and all these other good and important conversations to have. The one thing that I want you all to leave with is a tangible takeaway from the series. And for me, that's about using language actively and critically in these conversations about hair and Black women's hair specifically. Within this community, we tend to throw a lot of language around, such as natural, good, bad, done even. When your hair is done, what does that mean? We know that certain people don't actually have to do their hair in order for it to look done, but certain people have to put in a lot of labor and work to be able to say that they did their hair. This comes down to a really academic conversation about how we use language in a descriptive versus performative way. And what I mean by that is that there's a lot of scholarship out there that talk about speech acts and saying things such as I am this. That goes down to saying I am natural, I am Black, I am a woman. By saying that I'm natural, I'm essentially using my own motivated language and my own definition of what natural means to use that as a qualifier. So it's both descriptive and performative in the sense that it describes who I am, but it also at the same time speaks to my own beliefs or understandings of what natural means. Saying I am natural speaks to our hair and the current state of our hair. But something that I do want to maybe complicate for us is this idea of what natural looks like and how we identify being natural, because we do know that there are things that we do within the community that essentially manipulate the strands of our hair and the texture of our hair. So what does it mean that we can do a twist out or a braid out, but we can't say that we're natural if we use a texturizer? That to me is really interesting because that speaks to the temporality of hair. As long as we are manipulating our hair and our texture in a temporary capacity and in a reversible way where we can get our texture back, we can claim the natural identity, which is fascinating to me and something that, again, I think is more complicated than how we usually throw the term natural around. I've actually, in particular, have had this experience in high school where I, along with this other girl who was a year below me, was going natural, and I straightened my hair. I went to school one day and she said, "Oh, you're not natural anymore? Oh, you cracked under pressure." And for me, I was like, no, I'm natural. Like, I still have these curls and stuff like that. I just decided to straighten my hair. And that to me was a moment in which we had two different understandings of what natural was and the politics of being natural. With that example, I leave you here to think about the ways in which we use certain types of languages. And I think that that has most prominently come out in terms of how we qualify good hair and bad hair. But I would like to extend that conversation by saying use those techniques and critical thinking for not just how we qualify good and bad hair, but how we use language in general. So when we ask questions, as I've stated in a previous video, of what are you or where are you from, what are we actually asking? I'm leaving this series very sad, but very hopeful for what this can bring for our conversations about critical dialogue and critical issues within the natural hair community on YouTube. Please comment down below how you feel about using language and how you feel about this descriptive use versus performative. I think it's quite fascinating, and I think it will be something that all of us can easily implement in our everyday lives beyond hair. So with that being said, I'll talk to you later, and I'll try to get a better British accent for season 2 if there is one. So holla at your girl. Bye.